I'm going to go a little bit deeper, and I won't spend too much time on this, but I do think it's interesting to ask the question, why do we even have lawyers in society? Like, what do lawyers solve for? And the answer I like actually comes from two different places to this question. And if it were a small group discussion, it would be fun to sort of noodle through this for a while, but I'll go ahead and get to my punchline. The first part came from Daniel Katz. He's a professor at Chicago Kent Law School, used to be at Michigan State. He helped found the reInvent Law program at Michigan State. He's a real techie, nerdy guy, and I mean that in a good way. He's part of a business that created a thing called Fantasy Supreme Court, right, where people can log in and place their best guess as to how each justice is going to rule on different cases. What those lawyers didn't understand was that they were training an AI in that process, and they now have an AI that can predict how every justice is going to vote on new cases with like an 80 to 90% accuracy. Right, so that's the kind of thing that he works on. And the answer that he gives to the question, what do lawyers solve for, is basically this very practical thing. Whoops, two things. Lawyers help their clients mitigate risk and navigate complexity, full stop. And I think from a practical standpoint, that covers most of it, right? Or maybe all of it. Like, you need lawyers to help in those two situations. And obviously, there's a lot more to it than that. But if you distill it all the way down, I think that's a big part. The other half of the answer comes from this guy, Eric Meltzer, who I actually was law partners with for a while. He's gone on, and he was the director of strategy for a big law firm in the Northwest for a while. And I think he's now working for United Lex, one of the big legal processing outsourcing companies. But he gave this talk a couple years ago where he looked at it from a more sort of personal, emotional level, that lawyers satisfy this fundamental human need for seeking wisdom, advice, and consortium, right? And those first two, for me at least, that was a big part of sort of 1L law school training. It's like, okay, we have to learn this stuff, and then the essence of lawyering is taking our skill and knowledge and experience and applying it to that person's specific situation, right? That's the advice piece. But I think the consortium's important too, right? And it's what will give us the advantage over, and I don't think LegalZoom is a direct competitor for most of you, although if you do small business formation, it might be. Right, but this notion of consortium, that people want to feel like someone's in it with them, right? And that's important. So yes, you have to navigate complexity. Yes, you have to mitigate risk, right? Yes, you have to know things and you have to apply them, but you also have to give people a sense that you're there for them. It can't be just truly transactional. There is a personal, emotional piece to the relationship, and that's core to the value promise.